okay? So point C is the midpoint of segment AB. What do you think is going to be easier to draw first, the point or the segment? Let's draw the segment first. So I'm going to draw, oh, that's a highlighter. I'm going to draw an end point and a segment and the other end point. And then it's segment AB, so I'm going to put an A on one end and a B on the other end. Does it matter which one I put them on? No, it doesn't matter. And then C is the midpoint. What do you think midpoint means? Right in the middle. So I'm just going to eyeball it because I don't have a ruler handy. You do have a ruler handy if you wanted to really measure it. Okay? And that is point C. Notice I use all capital letters. Now here's something we really need to know in geometry. This is going to really help you out with a lot of things this year. Okay? To show that two segments are congruent, which means they have equal lengths, okay, we have to do something to the picture that lets whoever's looking at it know it's really in the middle. Yes?
You have to put in like 2 lines on them.
Yeah, we call them tick marks. So what you're going to see all the time is you're going to see a little tick mark on this segment and a little tick mark on this segment. And those tick marks tell us that the distance from A to C equals the distance from C to B. And that way whoever's looking at this just knows immediately and doesn't have to break out a ruler. Okay? So you'll either know it's a midpoint because it tells you it's a midpoint, or you'll know it's a midpoint because it shows you it's a midpoint. We can never assume just by looking at a picture that we have a midpoint just because a point looks like it's in the middle. Okay? I'll say this all the time this year. You'll hear me say it all the time. I'll say TBL, and then I'll say no TBL. And that stands for tell by looking. So if I ever asked you, well, how did you know? And you say, well, I could tell by looking at the picture. I'm going to say, no, you can't just look at it. You have to have some sort of mathematical proof. Does that